Yeah, good, great, awesome. Oh, that's fantastic. That's fun to hit it like that, isn't it? Okay, so I'll show you one other player hitting an open stance real quick. This is a little bit more casual of a shot. This is like the beginning of a warm-up for Roger, so he's not really cranking on this. But notice the logo on his pants. We can just see it on the left leg right now. And notice the logo on his chest. And watch how they both transition forwards way before the ball even enters the picture. And before he hits the ball, his hips are also now parallel to the baseline, and his shoulders are a little bit past parallel to the baseline. So he's made a whole 90-degree turn from setup to contact. And now what that does, Susan, is it allows his arm to be relaxed because all of that energy came through from his body. If it didn't come through from his body, something would have to propel the racket, and that something would end up being the arm, and that's when stuff starts getting really kind of quick and flippy and turny. And so what we've talked about so far is like the energy going forwards, like rotational energy into the ball. The second part of it I want to talk to you about is the path part of it. Here's Roger's contact point right here. And I want you to notice the lowest point that his racket gets to before he swings forwards. And that ends up being probably somewhere right about here is like his lowest point. So the angle that he's swinging at is this. So he's got a bunch of forwards and he has a little bit of upwards. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So this is the path he's swinging on. So this is, let's just say this would be, just for discussion, this would be 100% upwards, right? And this would be 100% forwards.
Yeah.
Is he more upwards or is he more forwards with this path he's actually on?
More forward.
Yep. It's probably twice as forwards as it is upwards. So he is going to make topspin, but most of his energy is being delivered into the ball forwards, which means he's going to have a lot of penetration and a little bit of shape on this particular shot. Sometimes it's going to switch, and he's going to, if he's like in trouble and he's hitting a defensive shot, or he's maybe trying to like bend it and like curve it and dip it at his opponent's feet or something like that, he might do the opposite and come really upwards and just do a little bit of forwards. But on this one, a standard kind of down the middle like rally shot, most of his energy is going through and a little bit of his energy is going up. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so here, just for fun, let me show you. What player is known for hitting tons and tons and tons of topspin?
Nadal.
Yeah. So Rafa comes from a lot lower below the ball and comes upwards a lot steeper. And so that's why his finish comes around, is because he's accelerating a lot more of his energy and his force vertically, and Roger is much more lateral.
And that's why his topspin numbers are so much more than everyone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's because of the path. By the best thing about your forehand is that you consistently do rotate your body forwards, and you do transition it forwards. You're parallel with your hips. You're a little past parallel with your shoulders. That's the thing that I normally work on the most with normal everyday players. Yeah. And you do a really nice job of that. So this is why you're able to hit your forehand as strong as you do. But you're coming from a much weaker position than they were. And so we don't have as much energy flowing. Like the roller coaster hasn't fallen from as high on your swing as it did on theirs. Their car is like really rolling by the time it gets to the ball, and you're kind of just starting to get it around and get some energy going when you make contact.
Okay.
So that's number one. Now, the reason why you hit everything so heavy is because watch the path here. Look at how low you start. So this is like the lowest point right here before you start going forwards. So if we draw that same kind of connecting point like we did for Roger, you're way more upward than he was. You're probably about 50-50. Now there's nothing inherently wrong with this. It just explains why you hit with so much spin. Because you start really low relative to the ball and you come up really steeply, and so you make a lot of topspin. If you want to drive the ball more, and let's just say we receive this exact same ball, then we'd want your racket to only drop to like here, and we'd want the connecting point to look something more like that.
Yeah. Okay.
That would produce a much more direct, drivey kind of shot with less topspin. And so that brings me to the last part, which your finish that you brought up before. The combination of this amount of turn with your body and this low of a drop with your racket means that we have a really steep upward swing with your arm having to do a lot of work, and that's why we have a lot of these types of finishes. Because your arm is starting from a low position, coming upwards really aggressively because your body's not supporting it a lot. And so all of that energy with your arm naturally just carries the racket over to the other side. So that's why I'm sure you've tried to finish high, but it probably feels like your arm just doesn't want to do that, and like you have to like make it like go up there. And it's because of all of this energy rotating in a circular direction with your arm, because your body's not really providing a lot of energy.
Okay.
So what I'd love for you to do is shadow some forehands, please, where we try to hit the heaviest ball possible, which means we want the lowest drop before we do the steepest raise up towards the ball. Does that make sense? So let's see you shadow a couple of those. Yep, super low drop, and then really aggressive raise up towards the ball. All right, let's do one more of those shadows, and I'm gonna let you hit 4 where you try to accomplish that. All right, here we go. Okay, good. Yeah, I like it, I like it. Let's talk about the first 3.
Yeah.
The first 3 were long, but they did have curve. Why did the ball go too far on the first 3? Remember our phrase.
The face
Sends it.
sends it.
The path bends it. So any ball that you send too far, the adjustment is going to be what?
To straighten my racket head.
That's right. Just simply turn your hand a little bit and just close the angle of the face a little bit more. And if we lose the shape and it starts going flat, then it means we need to drop the racket lower and come up a little bit steeper.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a really nice curve. Nice job. Good bend. Okay, so just close the angle of the face a little bit. Yes, good. Let me show you the difference between the two.
Yeah.
Tons of spin on the second one. This is the one that went long. So great low drop. Look at the angle of the strings on this one. You see how it's pitched upwards a little bit? Now watch the difference between that one and the one after it, where you adjusted it.
Yeah.
3-4 degrees is the difference
Yeah.
between the one that floats and kind of drifts and the one that stays in play.
Precision sport.
People don't understand how we're talking about like 1 or 2 degrees, like
Yeah.
one way or the other. Awesome drop, really nice lift. Good curve. Good curve. Last one. Awesome. Yeah, that's great. Now, with the same incoming ball, we're gonna go as flat as possible. So what are you gonna change?
My path.
That's right. What's gonna change about your path?
My path is going to be there instead of
That's right.
there.
So instead of your racket falling,
Yeah.
we only want it to drop to the level of the ball.
Okay.
That would be as flat as possible,
Yeah.
where the contact point and the lowest part of the swing are even.
Okay.
And so we want the angle of the racket to also be even, and if that all lines up perfectly, then we'll hit a dead straight shot.
Okay.
That would be the perfect other end of the spectrum.
Okay.
So let's kind of shoot for that. So shadow a couple of those. Yeah, good, good. Nice job, nice job. Yeah, good, great, awesome. Oh, that's fantastic. That's fun to hit it like that, isn't it?
It went in the court too.
How about that? So now we do have lift, but it's not nearly as much as before.
Yeah.
So here's the lowest part right here. So now we have a mostly level swing with just a little bit of low to high. And so all of your force is going right through the ball. So we have no curve any longer. So we rarely want to hit, this would be like if you're having your best day ever, you're timing everything perfect, and you're playing a doubles team who's like a full level above you, and you're like, well,
Yeah, I gotta go for it.
yeah, it's like, well, the only way this is going to happen is if I just pound them like off the court, and the ball's sitting there, you're in perfect balance. Like that's when maybe you'd pull this out and try it. Aside from all those boxes being checked, we're going to want a swing path that's probably more like this.
Yeah.
Like that would be more reasonable because it's adding a little bit more margin for us. But it's fun to hit it like that once in a while. So the whole goal here is we just simply want you to have the options and not be locked in. This is, it's cool, right? All right, so now I'd love to see you, just for training, just for practice, let's go back and forth.
Okay.
Between the really heavy one and then a dead flat like laser. So go ahead and shadow that. Shadow it first. Yep, heavy ball and then flat ball. Heavy ball. And good, I like it. Good. And flat ball. One more time. Heavy ball and flat ball. All right, let's try to do it now with the ball. So heavy first, steep path, and now flat ball, lateral path. Yeah, good, good, good. Heavy ball, drop the racket low. Yeah, flat ball, level swing. Okay, it's okay, it's okay. So what happened on the one? The one that you missed, what happened? What part of the equation did we?
The swing path.
No,
No?
not the path. The one that launched.
The face.
Yes. Remember,
It was too open.
the face sends it. So if the ball starts on a particular path and just keeps going, it's from the angle of your strings not being correct. So let's check that out real quick. So look at how low your racket is and how steep your racket's coming up towards the ball. That's awesome. So that's the heavy one. That's your happy place. And now here's the flat one. Watch the difference in how low the racket falls. So this is much straighter. Because your racket was, your face was open, that's what launched the ball up so far. So we just lost control of the racket face.
Right.
But the path was good. Path was nice and level. We just lost control of the face.
Yeah. Can we try that again?
Yeah, let's do it.